Hello everybody, my name is Veonia and this is Across Caucasus. Welcome. I'm very happy to be here today. This is the second video of my YouTube channel. I've decided I will be doing a brief introduction to the Caucasus. It is not easy because the Caucasus is a very complex area. It's a very complex region full of nuances and different groups, different religions, different ethnicities that are hard to summarize. I will start, however, by introducing the Caucasus from a geographic perspective. Geographically speaking, the Caucasus is a region that falls between the eastern limits of Europe and the western limits of Asia. It falls between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea. It is integrated by the southern political divisions that are within the Russian Federation, 3 independent countries, Georgia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan, and 2 disputed territories, Abkhazia and South Ossetia. Each of the Caucasian provinces has a distinct character formed under the influence of the neighboring territories. The northern foothills of Greater Caucasus have much in common with the steppes of Eastern Europe, but the environment of the Black Sea is also influenced by the Mediterranean. While the Eastern Caucasian and Transcaucasia or South Caucasus has a very strong influence from Minor Asia. The North and South Caucasus is divided by a mountainous range that spans from east to west. It's very prominent, and actually the highest mountainous peak in Europe is located there. It is called the Elbrus, and it is more than 5,000 meters high. It is located in Russia, but it's very near to the border with Georgia. Now, for centuries, the political environment of the Caucasus was shaped by the struggle for influence among the main 3 powers that we tackled very briefly in the first video of this YouTube channel. On one side, the Russian Empire, on the other side, the Ottoman Empire, and finally the Persian Empire. What happened with these 3 main giants battling for influence in the Caucasus was that eventually Russia was the winner of them all. The Persians relinquished most of their claims to the region by the 1860s, and the Ottoman Empire was whittled down during the rest of the century. This left the map of the North Caucasus conquered virtually completely by the Russian Empire, and it wouldn't be until the Soviet Union that the former independent countries, Georgia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan, would become part of the Soviet Union as republics, and then with the fall of the Soviet Union they would become independent again. But today, although the North still lives under the umbrella of Russia and officially within the political system of the Russian Federation, the South Caucasus still has very close ties with Russia when it comes to political, strategic, geopolitical, and energetic reasons. All in all, the Caucasus actually represents a connection between the West and the East. And that's a very strategic point that a power like Russia would never let go. So when it comes to the formal distribution of the territory in North Caucasus, we can say that it is conformed by different Russian political units, specifically 2 Kraya and the 7 republics. The republics of Karachaevo-Cherkessia, Adygea, Kabardino-Balkaria, North Ossetia, Alania, Chechnya, Ingushetia, and Dagestan, and the Kraya of Krasnodar and Stavropol. You can see this in the map right here. You may be wondering, but what is a Krai and what is a republic, right? Let me explain you. With the fall of the Soviet Union, the Russian territory needed a reconfiguration and therefore a new denomination of its territories. These denominations were deemed or considered partially in relation to the demographic situation and geographic situation of each of these places or areas. We have different divisions here. We have oblasti, or in singular oblast, which could be understood as a regular or standard province in which the majority of its inhabitants are ethnic Russians and Russian ethnic speakers. We also have the republics, which are deemed as homelands for ethnic minorities within Russia. These republics do have a constitution of their own, and they also have co-official languages, which means that even though Russian is spoken, the native languages of these regions, these republics, are also official. For example, we have Ingushetia in North Caucasus, which is one of these republics where one of the official languages is Ingush. The majority of the population living there is ethnically Ingush, but Russian is also an official language and it may be spoken by most of the population, especially in cities. Then we also have two kraya in North Caucasus, Krasnodar and Stavropol, and they are named like that because this can be translated as limit. So let me explain you. Before the Russian Federation was the Russian Federation, or even before it was the Soviet Union, it was an empire that was in active expansion and that had different waves of expansion towards the east, towards the south, etc. So the regions that were set on the limit of the imperial territories were denominated Krai, and they have remained with those names until nowadays, but their legal order, their constitutional order, everything is just the same as that of oblasti. Then we also have Okruga, and we also have two federal cities, in principle Moscow and St. Petersburg, and one autonomous oblast, which is the Jewish autonomous region, which is located in the Far East. The South Caucasus is conformed by independent states, but it is not free from dispute over territories. Abkhazia and South Ossetia are two regions that self-proclaimed their independence from Georgia with the support of Russia, which of course created tensions between Georgia and Russia, which exploded in the early 2000s. This happened also in a context where Europe was growing as the European Union and was attracting a lot of other countries or satellite countries like the Baltic countries or even the Caucasus countries. These for sure posed a threat for Russian strategy or in geopolitics, but we will talk about this further on. We don't have to talk about this in an introduction about the Caucasus. Another important territorial conflict that can be spotted in the South Caucasus is that of the Nagorno-Karabakh, which is a province that has historically been inhabited by Armenians and ruled under Armenian authority, but which has been long claimed by Azerbaijan, which was seized in 2023 by Azerbaijan. These latest moves created a situation of war between the two neighboring Armenia and Azerbaijan that lasts until today. But territorial disputes are only one dimension of Caucasus complexity. What truly distinguishes the region from others is the huge variety and extraordinary diversity of peoples, ethnicities, languages, and cultures. Despite its relatively small size, the Caucasus is home to more than 100 languages in itself, and dozens of ethnic groups inhabit its valleys and mountains, each with their own traditions, histories, and languages that at the same time become intertwined and mutually influenced. According to the Roman historian Pliny, when the Romans came to the Caucasus, they needed 134 interpreters to deal with the jumble of languages that existed in the region and which was difficult to solve for them and to understand for them. And in the 10th century, the Arab geographer and historian Al-Azizi coined the area with the name of mountainous languages, which still endures until today as a very valid term, and which is romantically used many times to talk about the Caucasus, and which particularly I like. So in order to conclude our introduction to the Caucasus, we can, in a nutshell, see the distribution of the Caucasus in North Caucasus and South Caucasus. The North Caucasus, as we have explained before, is divided in krai and republics that belong officially to the Russian Federation. And in it, we can distinguish two main indigenous group languages, which are the Northeast Caucasian languages, like the Circassian, the Abkhaz or the Adige, and then we have the Northeast Caucasian language group, which may include Chechen, Ingush, and some of the languages spoken in Dagestan. Disclaimer, there are so many languages spoken in Dagestan and so many different ethnic groups. These may be one of the most varied regions in the world. For sure, in the Caucasus, it is the most varied. Religiously speaking, the North Caucasus is predominantly Sunni Islam. More specifically, the Sufism is being followed in the North Caucasus, and this is a mystic approach to Islam. We will talk about it further on as well. Although there are still important Christian communities, especially among the Ossetians. Now, in the South Caucasus, on the other side of the Caucasian mountain range, we find, as we have said, the countries of Georgia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan, and the two territories, South Ossetia and Abkhazia. And here the main indigenous language group is the Kartvelian, which includes Georgian and its related languages like Mingrelian, for example. Alongside it, we find the Armenian and the Azerbaijani, which between them are not related. The Azerbaijani has its roots in Turkish, so it's a Turkic language and has pretty much to do with modern Turkish, and also is related by its roots to the languages spoken in Central Asia, in the countries like Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, etc. Even though they belong to different groups, and the Georgians, Armenians, and Azeris and Azerbaijan, they share a common history, and they form the core of the region's national identities. In religious terms, Armenia and Georgia are historically Christian societies, although different. One is Orthodox, the other one is Eastern Christian, and Azerbaijan is predominantly Muslim. Although in daily life, it's in the cities, in urban nucleus, it is very secular, let's say. Knowing this, the North Caucasus and the South Caucasus distinction, which is divided by the Caucasus Mountains and at the Elbrus, we can observe that the Caucasus has behaved along centuries as a very dynamic and alive region where a lot of exchange has been happening, and a lot of different influences from Ottomans, from Minor Asia, Persians, from Russia have collided and contributed to create such an interesting, varied place like the Caucasus. In the next video, I will take the North Caucasus and I will start disseminating all the small details about it. We will talk about the ethnic distribution of the North Caucasus, and we will explain what are the peculiarities to each of the regions that conform the North Caucasus in itself. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.